Nicolas Cage. One of the more eccentric actors of our era, he's known for delivering such profound lines as, "Not the bees, not the bees, ah!" And my personal favorite, "I'm a vampire, I'm a vampire, I'm a vampire." The dude is weirder than me. Now, after watching those two incredible performances, you might be asking yourself, just how did this celebrity superstar get his start at such a cutthroat, competitive industry that is the Hollywood A-list? Well, to you, I would say, look no further than his last name, his actual last name. Coppola. That's right, being successful in Hollywood often depends on who you know or who you know, in the Shakespearean sense. I can't. But nepotism aside, Nicolas Cage was able to amass an incredible $150 million fortune, but what's more impressive is he kind of blew it all. It is 2:20 p.m. Let's get down to business. So how does one blow their $150 million fortune? Well, buying watches, right? That's obvious. Amongst some other really crazy things. We're going to be looking at all of that and more today. So please like this episode, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and make sure to hit the bell icon so you know when we upload here at the Time Teller channel. Without further ado, let's talk about this Hollywood enigma that is Nicolas Cage. So when it comes to Nicolas Cage and his watch collection, the most boring thing you'll see on his wrist was just a basic Rolex Submariner that he had on the set of National Treasure. But when it comes to his personal watches, his tastes are much more discerning and much more expensive. He's been seen with a JLC Master Grand Reveal, purchase price $53,500. We've seen him with a Zenith El Primero Tourbillon Chronomaster, purchase price $133,000. Of course, everyone knows about this insanely gaudy watch that he owns, the Rolex Daytona Leopard 116598. Purchase price $70,000. Incredibly ugly. He has a much more classic Rolex Day Date, solid gold president. $15,000. Chump change for Nicolas Cage. He's been seen wearing a Rolex GMT Master 2. Purchase price $38,370. And finally, the Rolex Moonphase 6062, which is my all-time grail watch. And it's listed purchase price $650,000. I am so insanely jealous that he owns that one watch. It makes me kind of like, I've never been jealous of another human being to the point where like I dislike them, but the fact that he owns that watch and I should own that watch. Listen, in life, no one deserves anything, all right? You don't deserve anything. Life owes you nothing. Right? But I deserve a Rolex 6062, okay? I paid my dues. I've been on YouTube yelling about watches for like 4 years. I deserve one of the rarest Rolexes on earth, all right? And Nicolas Cage doesn't. But jokes aside, envy aside, this totals out to $959,870. And I know what you're thinking, that's under $1 million. So that doesn't really even put a dent in his $150 million bank account. So what went wrong? Well, if he bought all those watches and that were it probably wouldn't have been a big deal. But he didn't stop there. He bought a lot of other really questionable things. Okay, so in 2009, Nicolas Cage was one of the highest paid actors. He made $40 million that year alone. Now, the first issue is that year he also got slapped with a $6.2 million bill from the IRS, and Nicolas Cage ended up suing his money manager for fraud and negligence. I don't exactly know what happened there. I mean, still, you made $40 million. I'm not a huge fan of taxes. I think taxation is theft. But if you made $40 million and you paid $6.2 million, it's not like that's what would lead you to going broke. There were some other things involved. So let's take a look at a list of all the things involved in Nicolas Cage's financial ruin. Dinosaur skulls. Apparently, Nicolas Cage outbid Leonardo DiCaprio for a 67-million-year-old Tarbosaurus skull, and it was valued at $300,000. Okay, he could afford that, big deal. Okay, I'm just gonna say, I got a lot of this from financebuzz.com. I'm putting them on blast because the next thing they wrote were that he purchased 2 albino king cobras, and the caption is, Allegedly, Cage used the Cobras for protection. Some others say he used it for sexual activities. I don't know about that, and I don't know if you can prove that, and you can't just say something like that and just leave it. You gotta substantiate it, right? Again, guys, take everything with a grain of salt on the internet. Number 3 on the list, he bought 2 Bahamian islands. Cage bought a 40-acre, $7 million island for private use. Number 4, the Shah of Iran's Lamborghini. I guess he purchased it for $450,000. Interesting. Because we know this guy from Gone in 60 Seconds, right? We know that he probably is a car buff, and he wasn't. He would become one after filming that movie. And to substantiate this, apparently in June of 2004, he supposedly owned up to 30 motorcycles and 50 cars. His car collection included 9 Rolls Royces and a $1 million Ferrari Enzo, one of only 349 produced. And then, of course, you know, the Shah of Iran's Lamborghini. Number 6 on the list, 4 yachts, okay? He named one the Sarita. It cost $20 million and had 12 master bedrooms. That was just one of them. Now, when I told Connie, my girl, that I was filming this episode, she immediately brought up, oh, didn't he buy that haunted mansion? And he did. He bought a famous haunted house. I guess, you know, there's, if you ever go to New Orleans, they do various haunted tours. There's a lot of history in that part of the world. And there's a bunch of like haunted houses that the tour guides will take you to. And I guess Cage bought one in 2006 for $3.45 million. Apparently it was owned by a serial killer named Madame Lalaurie. Creepy. According to this website, in the house that Madame Lalaurie would kill and torture slaves in the 1800s, legends say it's haunted. Probably is. That sounds horrific. Number 8 on the list, shrunken pygmy heads. According to visitors, Cage had a collection of heads in his house for unknown reasons. Hey guys, I realized that I didn't have one of my lights on. Now I do though. We're professional here. Number 9, he bought a pyramid tombstone. I actually don't know anything about this. Located also in New Orleans. 9-foot tall pyramid tombstone engraved with Omni ab uno, Latin for everything from one. I guess that spoke to Cage so much he bought it. I don't know how much he bought it for though. Number 10, the first comic book featuring Superman. So Action Comics number 1, Detective Comics 38, which is the first appearance of Robin. Interesting bit of information. There were actually some spec shots of Nicolas Cage in the Superman suit because he was going to be cast as one of the Superman leads, but that fell through, thank God. Number 11 on the list, Crocodile. I guess when you have $150 million, it's like, yeah, why not? Just crocodiles sound cool. Yeah, let's put it on my tab. Number 12, he bought a shark. I don't know, it did not specify what kind. Number 13, he bought an octopus. Which isn't weird. Guys, I disclosed in one of my other episodes, I breed shrimp at my house. I got a really funny comment. People are like, you do it for food? You got shrimp on tap? No, I don't eat them, guys. They clean my other tanks. They're really cool. Shrimp are like little workhorses that like, they're little like worker bees that clean the tank, and they're really fun to look at. And I suppose, yeah, if things get any worse here in this country, I could eat them if I want to. Number 14 on the list, he bought a Gulfstream jet. Obviously, why wouldn't you? Number 15 on the list, 15 estate homes around the world. That's right. This is number 15 on the list, and it was 15 separate estates. Now, I told you he bought a haunted mansion in New Orleans. He bought a pyramid in New Orleans and another $10 million mansion in New Orleans. What's his thing with New Orleans? He was born in Long Beach. In addition to that, he also bought a $10 million Malibu beach home. Let's see, those islands, a $17.5 million place in Bel Air, which Bel Air isn't that far away from Malibu, so why do you need both, bro? Bought a huge place in Las Vegas and a 24,000 square foot home in Rhode Island, which for those of you who aren't from New England, that's like all of Rhode Island, pretty much. Other properties include a chalet in Aspen, Colorado, homes in San Francisco, New York, Newport Beach, and Venice Beach. Wait a minute. Venice Beach, Bel Air, and Malibu, those three places are so close together. This dude's just throwing money away. Number 16, 2 European castles. He bought an $8 million castle in Bath, England, and spent millions remodeling it. Then he bought an 11th century Bavarian castle in Etzelwang, Germany. Number 17, he bought various pieces of rare art, said to be 50 extremely expensive works of art. Number 18 on the list, talk about the watches, various pieces of expensive jewelry and wristwatches. We went over those already. And after all of that, he found himself in some financial trouble. And to add insult to injury, after that $6.2 million bill that he got from the IRS, he was slapped with an additional $13 million. Damn. Taxes suck, dude. So what's the main takeaway here, guys? Well, Nicolas Cage likes expensive watches and expensive other things. Now, I think what might be kind of clouding my understanding of his spending habits is the fact that I could never even consider purchasing like anything on this list of his. Like, okay, maybe I could buy a shark if we're talking about like a red tail shark or a bala shark. But it's because those are just going to aquariums, right? But if we're talking like great white, hey, I don't know if I got great white money. But yeah, I could never comprehend buying the Shah of Iran's Lamborghini Miura, or, you know, having 30 motorcycles and 49 other cars and 2 islands and a castle and another castle and then a pyramid and then a haunted mansion. Like, I just couldn't fathom being able to do that, so I just don't understand it. But if it were me and I had $150 million, I'd probably just buy the castle, maybe the haunted place, because that sounds kind of like freaky and I feel like girls would dig it. And then maybe a shark, probably a few more cars, all the watches. The snakes seem kind of cool, especially, you know, bringing them to the haunted mansion and, you know, maybe the crocodile, probably the islands also, and then I would need the yachts for the islands. And if I'm already in New Orleans with the haunted place and a bunch of girls, I'd probably want to take them to the pyramid, so I'd buy the pyramid. And then with whatever money I had left, I would buy a bunch of G-Shocks and then like a lifetime supply of Snyder's honey mustard onion pretzels. So yeah, and I'd probably also go broke, I'm realizing now. But guys, let me know. What do you think about his insane shopping list, and what would you do with $150 million? And if any of you say 2 girls at the same time, I'm going to ban you. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this episode. It was a fun one. Nicolas Cage, total weirdo, and I hope he's doing better now. I hope he figured it out with the IRS, because they'll get you. Always remember, taxation is theft. All right, guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay blessed. I'm Jordan Goodman, the Time Telling. Always remember, I didn't invent time. I just tell it. I almost said taxation is theft again.